What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. Week 7 preview predictions are continuing on here in this one, and we got a rivalry game taking place in South Bend, Indiana. It's the USC Trojans going on the road to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Two teams that, okay, maybe definitely have some work to do, but one team now thoroughly out of the college football playoff race. The other team trying to play their way back into being a top contender. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish can spoil that for the USC Trojans. All of that and more coming up in this video. But before we do that, you guys know I got business I got to take care of. It's just thanking you guys for all the support the channel has seen as of late. And you guys can continue to show your support. Biggest way by doing so, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you know when videos get uploaded. But there are more ways than that to help me support my channel. You guys are doing one of them right now just simply by watching this video. And you guys can do a whole lot more by liking, commenting, sharing, really anything else you guys are willing and or able to do to help me support this channel. Now, after a quick water break, remember to stay hydrated out there. We're going to dive on into Week 7 predictions, USC, Notre Dame. Oh boy, this one's going to be just a very, very fun one to watch. Always is. One of the best rivalries in college football gets renewed this week when these two teams go head-to-head in Notre Dame Stadium. Should be a fun one. Again, here are some of the stats that both of these teams have put up this college football season. Now, we are going to start with the road team. We're going to start with the USC Trojans, and I don't think I have to linger on their offense too much, right? We know what this offense is capable of. We know that they have the reigning Heisman Trophy winner in Caleb Williams, 1,822 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 1 interception. I mean, he's just playing really, really well. However, did show some vulnerability last week. Definitely did not have his best game last week, but really no argument still that he is one of, if not the best quarterbacks in the entire country. In fact, I really don't think there's an argument. I think he is the best quarterback in the entire country. And it's a team that isn't as it's a team that isn't as one-dimensional as they have been in the past when they've been reliant on the pass game, when they've been reliant on Caleb Williams, right? This team has a run game, 519 yards, 4 touchdowns, 7.7 yards per carry from Marshawn Lloyd, the South Carolina transfer. Austin Jones has been in and out there, 25 carries, 163 yards, but still 6.5 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. And we know Caleb Williams can do it with his legs as well. Don't need to talk really much more on the offense, but this USC defense, ladies and gentlemen, still has a lot of the same problems that we talked about with this USC team last year. And not only that, I mean, really, what is there not to talk about here with this USC defense? The one thing I will say about this USC defense is they are so much improved on the defensive front, not only in their run defense, which I know has 157 yards allowed per game. That number can definitely improve, but this is a defensive line that has all the pass rushing talent in the world, led by Bear Alexander, the former Georgia Bulldog transfer. He's been really impactful. Not one of their leaders in sacks, though. That's going to go to the guys by the name of Jameel Muhammad, Solomon Byrd, the 6 and 5 sacks respectively for the both of them on the season, and 22 sacks for the USC defense so far this year. That is 3.67 sacks per game. They're definitely going to be giving this Notre Dame offensive line a very, very tough test. But everything else with this Notre Dame defense, I mean, just seeks room to improve, right? We saw that last week against the Arizona Wildcats. Now, Arizona definitely not a bad team at all. They're much improved. The offense, even though they didn't have Jaden Delora, still has a lot of good weapons that can move down the field. But this is the USC defense that this struggles to defend really anything. They're allowing opponents to get 40% conversion rate on their third downs. And while they are forcing some turnovers, maybe not as much as they were last year, and while they are generating a whole ton of sacks, they're allowing teams to go drive down the field and score. And at times they're allowing them to go drive down the field and score really, really easily. And this is a USC defense that has to be on its A game, because this is a Notre Dame offense with Sam Hartman that, yes, look, and I understand here, it's something I've talked about with Notre Dame before. I do not agree with the AP sliding them all the way down there to 21. Yes, they did not look at their best in the game against Louisville. For one, I think that just proves how good that this Louisville team really, really is. And people like me especially have been underrating that team for a lot of this season. But for Notre Dame especially still. This is going to be their 4th straight game in primetime against a ranked opponent. So it's bad enough that you've had to play 4 straight night games. Consider the fact that it's all against teams that are probably going to win at the very minimum, 8 games, just maybe even at the very minimum 9 games there as well. When you talk about Ohio State, Louisville, Duke, and now, of course, the USC Trojans, I say at very minimum 8 games. This college football season is going to be crazy, but I mean, when I take a look at this Notre Dame team, I still see a very, very good team. I still see one of the best offensive lines in the entire country. Yes, they did get bullied up quite a bit in that pass game against the Louisville Cardinals. I believe the Cardinals had 5 sacks against this Fighting Irish offensive line. But look, Sam Hartman is still the quarterback there with his veteran leadership. This is still a really good Notre Dame offense. 16 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1,712 yards on 64.5% completion percentage. We know that this team can run the ball. Audric Estime, Jeremiah Love, Payne Price, so many other weapons in this running back room for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And we know that they have the wide receivers, albeit they're young, but they have the wide receivers to be able to get it done. Now, defensively, this was a defense that really started to get carved up by Louisville last week. However, for the most part this season, it's been a really, really strong defense, and it's a defense that may not be able to stop Caleb Williams and this USC Trojan offense all the time, but it's going to be able to get its fair share of stops, and it's going to be able to stop what this USC offense has going for it, and it's going to be able to do that with enough maybe not consistency, but it's going to be able to do that enough to let Sam Hartman and this Notre Dame offense go to work and be able to win this football game. It is a Notre Dame team that provides pressure. It is a Notre Dame team that is, again, only around over 1 turnover forced per game, but they're still forcing those turnovers, right? They are not allowing teams to get much wiggle room there. Yes, they did get bullied up front by Jawar Jordan last week, but for the most part, this is a defense that's been really, really sound, and again, they know what it takes to stop this USC team. Not that they did it last year. They got torched by this USC offense last year, but the game plan is going to be more set for this Notre Dame defense, which leads me into my what to watch for. Going to go through it here pretty quickly, starting out with the USC Trojans. Again, these are just things I think you should watch for while watching this game. Williams, and I just talked about this here on my last slide, right? Williams showed vulnerability last week, but he's going to be a lot better here. He's going to be the Caleb Williams that we all know and love. He's going to be the Heisman winning, just absolute dynamic athletic quarterback that we have seen. Last week was an off week. I do not expect that to continue here. Now, Williams will have his struggles against Notre Dame defense that's really, really good, but this is a Caleb Williams that I expect to be better than last week, especially with all the weapons that he has. Defensively, though, this is where a lot of the keys lie for the USC Trojans. We know the offense is going to go down, and it's going to give this team a shot to win the game no matter what the defense is doing. But especially against an opponent like Notre Dame, you have to provide pressure to Sam Hartman. You have to get him on the turf, and just overall, this is the defense that has to step up now. This is a, albeit very young, but very talented group of Notre Dame wide receivers. Audric Estime is a very, very powerful back that can punish, and if he punches through this USC defensive front, I mean, if Audric Estime breaks into the 2nd or even 3rd level, I don't know that there's much of a chance that USC is going to be able to stop him. Open field tackling is going to be really, really important here for this game against USC. I feel like Sam Hartman and Marcus Freeman are going to have a couple tricks up their sleeve. They're going to be more explosive than they usually are, but for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, set the tone with the run game. If you can get past this defensive front that is very good in pass rush, not that great in terms of its run defense, especially running behind an offensive line that has as many NFL caliber players as it does, this is a Notre Dame team that's going to find a lot of success offensively, and if you can set the tone with the run game, let this offensive line push this Trojan defensive line back, let Sam Hartman fly. Just let the deep ball fly. Test this USC secondary that, albeit, yes, has been able to force some turnovers this year. They do have 4 interceptions, 23 passes defended on the season. But if this is a USC team that's going to be focused on stopping the run, you can let the pass fly here with Sam Hartman and let that arm work. This defense is going to have to pressure Williams, and that's a whole lot easier said than done, because even if you get Caleb Williams outside of the pocket, we know that Caleb Williams is just as good of a runner as he is a thrower, right? So it's going to be a really tough test, but you have to be able to do your best. Get to Caleb Williams early so that he really has nothing else to do but take the sack, or at the very least, throw the football away. But I've talked about it with Notre Dame before, right? This team is exhausted. This is going to be their 4th straight primetime game against a ranked opponent. This is a Notre Dame schedule that is really, really, really hard, and I really, quite frankly, don't appreciate people saying, oh, well, this Notre Dame team just isn't very good. Guys, they're exhausted. They're tired. But you know what? This is a rivalry game. As exhausted and tired as they are, they're going to show up for this one. How does this team recover? How does this team step up? You know what? I think they recover, and I think they step up in a big way. I just simply cannot trust what Lincoln Riley's USC Trojans are doing on the defensive end, and I really do trust Sam Hartman and this offense. I think last week definitely showed that this team is exhausted. This team is tired. But moving forward, this is the Notre Dame team that I really do, at the bottom line, I trust Notre Dame's offensive line to be able to win the battle against USC's defensive front. Now, USC will win, and it will get to Sam Hartman at times here in this game. But I think this Notre Dame defense is going to be ready for Caleb Williams. I think this Notre Dame offense is going to do more than enough than it needs here to win this game. Notre Dame will force the takeaway or two that it needs here. And while USC definitely is, I think, going to be questioned, I think they're going to be a lot more questioned here after this game. I do have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking away the win here in this one, 34-31. Wouldn't surprise me to see USC come away and walk away with a win here in this one. I just think Notre Dame's going to do what it takes here. The defense is going to be more keyed in on Caleb Williams. They're going to have a much better game plan, and they have a much better quarterback than last year here in Sam Hartman that's going to be able to get them the points that they need to win this game. Should be a fun one anyway. You slice it up from South Bend. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And hey, as always, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.